I'd just like to talk to you briefly today, tell you a little bit about myself, about Moto Direct and our project to replace our ERP system and website. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can. I think it's really nice for people to ask questions at the end, so get as many questions in as you can. So just tell you a little bit about myself before we start. I'm the supply chain manager at Moto Direct. I know that's a little bit of a strange job title, but what I do really is I work with every department within the business on any projects, any systems, any processes that cross over between lots of departments. So particularly for the B2B website, I worked with the IT department and the marketing department to make sure we implemented a great solution that kept everyone happy. And we really want to, at Moto Direct, we really focus on providing what we call celebrity service to our customers. Our customers are our lifeblood. If our customers aren't happy, we're not happy. So it's really important that we give great service. Today, like I say, I just want to talk a little bit about Moto Direct, why we changed system, what our goals were. We had some challenges along the way, so I thought I'd touch on those briefly, how we were able to overcome those challenges, and finally, what we learned at the end of the project. So I hope you all find it really interesting. So just to start, a little bit about Moto Direct for any of you guys who don't know us. So we're actually one of the leading motorcycle clothing and accessory manufacturers and distributors based in the UK. We're really fortunate we've got a great range of brands, including RST, Wolf and Trick Moto, which are owned and developed by RST in the UK, actually manufactured overseas by our own production facilities. We also distribute some world-class motorcycle brands, such as RI, AGV, Dainese and Motul. I don't know if any of you guys out there ride a bike, but I'm sure if you do, a lot of those brands will be familiar to you. So over the past 5-6 years, Moto Direct has seen some tremendous growth, fueled mainly by RST. And the business has changed from being quite a simple, buy and sell distribution business into a much more complex business involved in manufacturing, marketing our brands, developing our brands, etc. At the time, we were working with quite a basic, quite old school ERP system, and it was really starting to hold the business back. It was great for the warehouse, but the rest of the business was really struggling. So we made the decision about 2 years ago now to move away from our ERP and replace it with Microsoft Dynamics now with the Pebblestone Fashion add-on. So, like I say, a little bit of background about Moto Direct. So, as well as replacing the ERP system, we had a lot of feedback from our customers that our B2B website really wasn't up to standard and was lagging behind that of our competitors. So, we made the decision to replace the B2B website at the same time. We sat down and we came up with a couple of goals to make sure that our new website was market leading and kind of beat out our competitors. So first of all, the platform we were using was quite an old platform. It really wasn't. It was quite a small company that developed it. It was the same company that developed our ERP system. And it really hadn't been improved over the past 4 or 5 years, which is obviously a lifetime in web design, web engineering. So it was really important to us that we had a much faster site. Sometimes on our legacy B2B website, page loads could take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, which when you're a B2B customer, you just want to place your order as quickly as possible. You don't want to have to wait around. The site design was really basic. It was quite clunky. There wasn't much we could do to customize it. And obviously, we want the site to reflect Moto Direct. If a customer goes on the site and it's ugly, it's hard to use, that reflects poorly on Moto Direct. And finally, the kind of ordering, the checkout process, again, was very, very basic. It really frustrated our customers and our salespeople as well, who also use the website. So it was really key that we improve the performance and the usability of the website. Now, as you can imagine, dealing with motorcycle clothing, we often deal with lots of different colors and sizes. On our legacy B2B platform, it would treat every color and size as an individual item. And you can imagine if you're a customer wanting to place a large order covering lots of different colors and sizes, having to click into every single page, every single color and size is incredibly frustrating. And that was one of the biggest complaints we had. Our customers just wouldn't use the site to place large orders, and we'd end up having to process those orders manually at our sales admin desk. And finally, we found we were getting a lot of phone calls from our customers, which in a way is great. We love to speak to our customers. We love to interact with them. But it tended to be the same question over and over again. Can you tell me the status of my order? Can you tell me the tracking information for my shipment? Can I download an invoice? Can I get a copy of a statement? And like I say, sometimes we appreciate as a customer, you just want a quick answer. While it's great to talk to people, if you want a copy of your invoice, you don't want to have to pick up the phone. You just want to go and download it. So it was really important that we provided a lot more account information for our customers online. So We had a few challenges along the project, but just to set things up a little bit. So after setting our goals for the B2B website, we looked at a lot of different platforms out there, and we really narrowed it down to Sana and Magento. And it would be like a Magento community build with a lot of custom development to support our kind of B2B functionality. Now, as a growing business, we thought that flexibility was key. All we really cared about, we wanted to be able to develop the product, we wanted to spend as much time making the product work in the Moto Direct way, because we think, we're Moto Direct, we're special, we want to do it our way. So we really focused heavily on customization. And we also had some kind of Magento experience in-house. So don't hold it against me, but we around 2 years ago, we actually made the decision to go with Magento Community instead of Sana. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but don't worry, it all gets better. So yeah, it will be fine. Yeah, so obviously, like I say, we faced a few challenges. So I just wanted to talk quickly about the kind of problems you had. So if you want to put yourselves in my shoes for a moment, we signed off on the NAV project. Things are going really well. Implementation's pretty smooth. Most of the custom development's done. We're about kind of 9-12 months into the project at this point, and this is probably the biggest project the Moto Direct has ever taken on as a business. It affects every single department in the business, so it really is huge. It's a make and break project for Moto Direct, but so far NAV was going really well. The same couldn't be said for the Magento website. It was behind schedule, and the feedback from our users was really poor. Our users were quite frustrated. It wasn't going according to plan. So I just thought I'd touch on some of the issues we faced with Magento. So first of all, and this is partly on Moto Direct, I would say, and partly on our Magento partner, that for me, I realise now that initial specification of the system is so important. It can't be stressed enough. And as a business, and like I say, I think we were slightly led poorly by our Magento partner. All we really focused on was what was wrong with our existing system. And in reality, there was actually quite a lot of good stuff in there as well, but we totally forgot about it. We were like, oh, we want something new. We don't like the old system, so all we focus on is new features. And as we started to develop the Magento site, we started to use the kind of beta site, we started to find all these little issues where it's actually, you know what, Magento isn't quite as strong here, not being a pure kind of B2B platform. Okay, we need some extra development. Obviously, that adds time, it adds cost, it adds complexity, and that was really holding the project back. Secondly, we as a business, we really underestimated just how difficult a bespoke integration between Magento and Microsoft Dynamics NAV was going to be. Obviously, Moto Direct as a business, what we're great at is designing, manufacturing, and selling motorcycle clothing. Magento integration was completely new to us as a business, and we realized it's incredibly difficult. We found that we were having to build our kind of business logic, our business processes in two different systems, and it's really difficult. You've got two systems that work totally differently. To get those processes to be exactly the same is incredibly challenging. And a couple of specific issues, our pricing, for example. We deal with customers in the UK and all around the world. We have some very complex pricing rules. They were very easy to set up in NAV. We didn't really need many changes at all in NAV, but trying to recreate those pricing rules in Magento was incredibly difficult. And stock accuracy, it's really important for our dealers. Often they'll be on their B2B website, well, they've got their customer in store checking, oh yeah, okay, well I haven't got the size 42 here, but Moto Direct have got it in stock in the warehouse, so it will be with you tomorrow. So live stock information is really important, and again, we struggled with this on Magento. And finally, we found that, unfortunately, not all Magento partners are created equally. Magento is a good product. There are some good Magento partners out there. But again, being a growing business, we were really focused on flexibility. We chose a smaller Magento partner because we thought, oh, okay, they'll get Moto Direct. They understand us. They're a small growing Magento partner. But it just wasn't the case. They really didn't have a kind of strong project management team. And again, you forget when you're looking at software, you tend to focus on features, and you forget about how important it is to have a great team of project managers to make sure your project is on track, it's on time, and it's on budget. So I think our partner took on probably more than they could handle, and because of that, they were really struggling to implement the site. So that's the bad news out of the way. As I say, we're your 500th customer, so things worked out in the wash. How we're able to turn things around is just something I'd like to touch on now. So again, put yourselves in my shoes for a moment. You're the project manager of this huge project for Moto Direct. It's the most you've ever spent on a single project, and you're definitely feeling the stress. Fast forward another kind of 3 or 4 months, and again, things are still going really well with Nav. Implementation's finished, users are testing, and the feedback from our users was really positive. You know, everybody was really geared up, couldn't wait till Nav went live. You know, they could really, now they start to use and test the system, they could really see the benefits. But without a B2B website, we just couldn't go live. It's such a key part of our business. So the B2B website was holding up this huge investment in Nav, and our users were really starting to get frustrated. So we had to understand what was going on and address some of the issues. So I think I found going through the project, it was really important to have a very open, a very frank relationship with all of our kind of key users and kind of external partners. These projects are difficult, whether you're implementing a full ERP system with all the complexities or just a B2B website. A company like Moto Direct, this isn't something we do every single day. Like I say, our speciality is selling motorcycle clothing. We aren't experts at implementing systems. You know, we really rely on our partners. So, you know, we made some mistakes as we went through. I think we had, because we had a really kind of open, a really kind of frank discussion around Magento, we were able to resolve some of the issues, and we didn't kind of, it would have been quite easy for us to just kind of put our blinkers on and, you know, proceed with Magento anyway, even though we knew there was problems. But I think, like I said, this works both ways. I think it's important that you guys as a partner, again, are really open and frank with your customers. You know, we saw this with our Magento partner. They would just hide, they wouldn't answer emails, they wouldn't give us the full story. It's better that people talk, be open, be honest, and then you really understand where the issues are. And again, like I say, these projects are really difficult. It's not something business like Moto Direct does every single week. We make mistakes, and sometimes you have to make really difficult decisions. So after speaking to all of our key users, getting everyone together, we came to the realization that whilst we probably could get the Magento site to work, we could probably get it to go live, there was a lot of issues, and it really wasn't that much of an improvement over our existing B2B website, which again, you know, Moto Direct, we're all about customer service. That's just not acceptable for us. We want to give that customer a great experience. We don't want to just roll out a website that's buggy, where the design isn't great, and frustrate our customers. So we had to sit down as a business and make a difficult decision. Obviously, we'd invested a lot of time, a lot of money in Magento, so this wasn't initially a very popular decision within the business. It was really hard. When we looked at it, we looked at some of the ongoing challenges with Magento, you know, potential of additional development. Like I said earlier, some of the integration challenges were very difficult, and we knew we'd be in a position where we'd have to do a lot of manual work to synchronize data between Nav and Magento. We realized the ongoing costs just made it, and the, you know, the kind of poor functionality just made it untenable to continue with Magento. So at this point, I picked up the phone and I was like, Eleanor, wherever you are, do you remember me? It's Sean from Moto Direct. Help. We got a problem. We need a new B2B website, and we need it really quickly. And I think for me, I realize now we were up against a really tight deadline. You know, there was a lot of pressure on from the wider business to get the ERP system, get the website live as quickly as possible. I think if we'd rushed it, we would have faced a lot of the same issues in Magento. So again, I think guys from Sana were really good. You know, I was saying earlier about being open, being realistic. They sat down, we worked a project plan together, we set a realistic go-live date, allowing enough time for your development, for our testing, and we met that date. And I think, again, if we'd set an unrealistic date, we would have struggled, we would have rushed, we would have made mistakes, we would have frustrated more people in the business. So, like I say, open and honest relationships, setting those realistic deadlines is key. In October of last year, we went live with our ERP system and our new website, and I think it was really successful. Feedback from all of our customers is great, which I'll touch on later. From our ERP partners and from Sana, feedback's been really strong. So whilst we got there in the end, it was challenging. I thought I'd just touch on a couple of lessons we learned along the way, and maybe other people can avoid making these mistakes in the future. So, as I mentioned earlier, we were a growing business, and we really felt flexibility, custom development was key. In hindsight, this was a massive mistake. Custom development is hard, it's expensive, it's time-consuming, not only for the consultant, but for the business internally. We realized probably for every day that Sparna would spend working or our ERP partner would spend working, we would have to work 3 or 4 days within the business. And like I say, these projects are huge for the businesses that are involved in them. It's very difficult for us to scale up, for that extra resource. So you've got to be really careful how much custom development you do. In addition, sometimes theory and reality don't always match up. I think we found it's much better to go live with a system that's got a small amount of customization. I think every business is going to need some customization, but if you can keep it to a minimum, go live with a project, suddenly you get much better feedback. Once you're live, once you've got all of your customers using it, you've got all of your customers using it every single day, the feedback you get is so much more useful. Like I said, much better to go live and then continue to develop the system. I think otherwise you really struggle. It's important, again, especially for a business like Moto Direct that's just made a huge investment in the ERP, leverage the strength of your ERP system. Integration is really hard. Like I say, obviously there's a lot of very smart people in this room who I'm sure it's a doddle for, but as a company like Moto Direct, it's not something we do every day. It's really difficult. Having that kind of out-of-the-box integration where we didn't need to replicate all of our business process, we didn't need to replicate our pricing rules on the website because it was just there out of the box, was a massive time saver for Moto Direct, not only in terms of getting the project live, but in terms of the day-to-day management of the site. Sana product, we really love it because it's very hands-off in a way. We worry about making sure products have got images, making sure specifications are right. We don't worry about managing data and tedious tasks like that. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, we realize while software is really important, equally, if not more important, is the partner you're working with. I can't stress enough. I work with a lot of companies, not just in the UK, but all around the world. I'm consistently blown away. Whenever I work with Sana, every single person I speak to is helpful, friendly, and just goes out of their way to work for Moto Direct. And it's been incredible. I think that's a huge part of why our project has been so successful. We had great advice from Sana. The guys in Sri Lanka, the guys in Ukraine did an amazing job. Like I say, super friendly, super easy to work with. It makes a huge difference to the customer. We don't do this every single day. So we really rely on you guys for advice, for help, and like I say, it makes a huge difference. It's like you guys deserve, a massive amount of thanks, not just from me, but from the whole of Moto Direct, because you did an incredible job. Yeah. So just a couple of slides. So this is the kind of final site design. We use your modern theme, which I think is great. At the moment, it's primarily a B2B website, so we keep the design nice and simple, nice and clean. Again, feedback from our customers is it's so much easier to find information on the new site. As I mentioned earlier, having all of the colors and sizes in one place is incredible. This is, the #1 feature that was requested by customers, and they absolutely love it. It's really great. So, as I mentioned, we went live in October. Really successful, great feedback. I thought I'd look at a couple of specific areas, just so you're aware. So first of all, customer feedback's been great. Like I say, at Moto Direct, we're all about celebrity service. We live and die on our customers and what they think of Moto Direct. And our customers demand a lot of Moto Direct, as they should. Again, put yourself in my shoes. We do a dealer presentation every year to show our dealers the new 2019 products or the new range of products, and we invite every dealer in the UK and around the world to our offices in the middle of October to view all the products. Last year we made the decision, because obviously we changed our B2B site, we were going to sit with every single dealer that came through the door, understand what they thought about the site, answer any questions, give them a little bit of training if they needed it. And I was dreading it. Let me tell you, we're 2 weeks into a brand new ERP system, brand new website. I was like, oh no, I'm going to get so much hassle, so much grief. I'm not looking forward to this at all. But the customers were great. We had 1 or 2 customers that weren't very happy, but you expected. But, our customers, our account managers, they love the site. They find it so much easier to use than the old site. We followed this up with a survey for some of our customers, just to get a real understanding of anything that we'd missed when developing the site and their feedback. 60% of customers say they absolutely love the site. I think there's another 20% of customers that say it's great, but there's a little bit of room for improvement. I think less than 5% of customers say they hate it. I mean, that's incredible. And again, it's a testament to you guys for building a great product. One of the things that's really amazed me, we deal with a lot of export customers. Obviously, export business is quite complex. The customer tends to be a bit larger. The typical order tends to be a bit larger, a bit more complex. And our export department were pretty skeptical going into this about whether their customers would order online or not. We tried for a long time to get our export customers to order on the old B2B system, and almost without fail, they'd use the system for a few weeks and go, guys, this is rubbish. We're not interested in using this. Here's our purchase order. You deal with it. We're not using your website. But the uptake from our export customers on Sign has been incredible. Like I say, the orders are up 70%, but we continue to add more and more customers. We've got more and more export customers coming onto the site. So I think that number is only going to get higher and higher over the next couple of months. And again, the feedback is incredible. We deal with customers where, you know, it's one man, one woman working in a small motorcycle store, maybe not very not very tech savvy. You have a lot of customers who have just discovered email. They're like, oh, I've got this remarkable new thing. It's called email. You're like, okay, great. And we've got customers like that all the way up to large distribution export customers, and they all really like the site. And I think that's very difficult to do. You could build a complex site that meets all the needs of your export customers, but you'd upset your smaller customers. You could build a more simple site for your smaller customers, but it wouldn't quite be fit for purpose on the export customers. So again, we're really impressed with that. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, our marketing department and our IT department are finally friends again. There was a bit of friction with the old system, but I think you guys do a great job of designing the system that keeps the IT guys happy. It's easy to manage. There's not too much administration, and keeping the marketing guys happy as well. So yeah, that's really, really impressive. As I said, a lot of our customers, they're very demanding. So we got a lot of great feedback. It's just one quote, but we must have had 50, 60, 70 emails from customers in those first few weeks saying, wow, thanks guys, we really love the new site.